Right. I think we should be good to go. Yep. Um, Good evening, friends, and a hearty welcome back to Croakspeare Theatre Co. Tonight we will be doing our first facecam performance, the Scottish play. Obviously, we're gonna give a warning ahead of time that this play deals with some heavy subject matter, and I believe some of the actors will have props. Now, with that, I hope you are all sitting comfortably, and we will begin with Act 1, Scene 1 in a desert place. There is thunder and lightning, and three witches enter.
When shall we three meet again, in thunder, lightning, or in rain?
When the hurly-burly's done, when the battle's lost and won.
That will be ere the set of sun.
Where the place?
Upon the heath,
There to meet with Macbeth.
I come, Grey Malkin.
paddock calls,
Anon.
Fair is
Fair
with
foul,
foul,
and
and
foul
foul
is
is
fair.
fair.
Hover
Hover
through the
through
fog
the
and
fog and
filthy
filthy
air.
air.
And they all exit. Act 1, Scene 2, a camp near forest. Alarum within. Enter Duncan, Malcolm, Donald Bain, Lennox, with attendants meeting a bleeding sergeant.
Oh, hat's gone. What bloody man is that? He can report of seemeth by his plight of the revolt, the newest state.
This is the sergeant who, like a good and hardy soldier, fought against my captivity. Hail, brave friend. Say to the king the knowledge of the broil as thou didst leave it.
Doubtful it stood as two spent swimmers that do cling together and choke their art. The merciless MacDonald, worthy to be a rebel, for to that the multiplying villainies of nature do swarm upon him. From the western isles of Kerns and Galaglasses is supplied, and fortune on his damned quarrel smiling, showed like a rebel's whore, but all's too weak. For brave Macbeth, well he deserves that name, disdaining fortune with his brandished steel, which smote with bloody execution, like Valor's minion, carved out his passage till he faced the slave, which ne'er shook hands nor bade farewell to him, till he unseamed him from the nave to the chaps, and fixed his head upon our battlements.
Oh, valiant cousin, worthy gentleman.
As whence the sun gains his reflection, shipwrecking storms and direful thunders break, so from that spring whence comfort seemed to come, discomfort swells. Mark, King of Scotland, mark, no sooner justice had with valour armed, compelled these skipping kerns to trust their heels, but the Norwegian lord surveying vantage, with furbished arms and new supplies of men, began a fresh assault.
Dismayed not this our captains, Macbeth and Banquo?
Yes, as sparrows eagles, or the head of the lion. If I say sooth, I must report they were as cannons overcharged with double cracks, so they doubly redoubled strokes upon the foe. Except they meant to bathe in reeking wounds, or memorize another Golgotha, I cannot tell. But I am faint. My gashes cry for help.
So well thy words become thee, as thy wounds. They smack of honour both. Go, get him surgeons.
And the sergeant leaves, attended.
Who comes here?
Ross enters.
The worthy Thane of Ross.
What a haste looks through his eyes, so should he look that seems to speak things strange.
God save the king.
Whence camest thou, worthy Thane?
From Fife, great king, where the Norwegian banners flout the sky and fan our people cold. Norway himself, with terrible numbers, assisted by that most disloyal traitor, the Thane of Cawdor, began a dismal conflict, till that Bellona's bridegroom, lapped in proof, confronted him with self-comparisons, point against point, rebellious, arm against arm, curbing his lavish spirit, and, to conclude, the victory fell on us.
Great happiness.
That now Sweno, the Norway's king, craves composition, nor would we deign him burial of his men till he disbursed at St. Colm's inch $10,000 into our general use.
No more that Thane of Cawdor shall deceive our bosom interest. Go pronounce his present death, and with his former title, Great Macbeth.
I'll see it done.
What he have lost, noble Macbeth have won.
And they all exit. Act 1, Scene 3, a heath near Forres. There is thunder, and the three witches enter.
Where hast thou been, sister?
Killing swine.
Sister, where thou?
A sailor's wife had chestnuts in her lap, and munched and munched and munched. Give me, quoth I. Anoint thee, witch, the rump-fed Runyon cries. Her husband's to Aleppo gone, master the tiger. But in a sieve I'll thither sail, and like a rat without a tail, I'll do, and I'll do.
I'll give thee a wind.
Thou'rt kind.
And I another.
I myself have all the other, and the very ports they blow. All the quarters that they know, I the shipman's card. I will drain him dry as hay, sheep shall neither night nor day hang upon his penthouse lid, he shall live, a man forbid. Weary nights 9 times 10 shall he dwindle, peak and pine. Though his bark cannot be lost, yet it shall be tempest tossed. Look what I have.
Show me, show me.
Here I have a pilot's thumb, wrecked as homeward he did come.
There is a drum within.
A drum, a drum. Macbeth doth come.
The
weird
weird
sisters,
sisters,
hand in
hand in hand,
posters
posters
of
of the
of the
sea
and
and land.
Thus
do
Do
go about,
go about,
about
thrice
thrice
to
to
thine,
thine, and
thrice
thrice
to
to
mine,
mine,
and
and
thrice
thrice
again
again
to make up
nine.
9. Peace,
Peace,
the
the
charms
charms
wound up.
round up.
And Macbeth and Banquo enter.
A day I have not seen.
How far is called the forest? What are these, so withered and so wild in their attire, that look not like the inhabitants of the earth, and yet are on't? Live you, or are you aught that man may question? You seem to understand me, by each at once her chappy finger laying upon her skinny lips. You should be women, and yet your beards forbid me to interpret that you are so.
Speak, if you can. What are you?
All hail, Macbeth! Hail to thee, Thane of Glamis!
All hail Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor.
all hail Macbeth. Thou shalt be king hereafter.
Good sir, why do you start and seem to fear things that do sound so fair? I, the name of truth, are ye fantastical, or that indeed which outwardly ye show? My noble partner you greet with present grace and great prediction, of noble having and of royal hope. That he seems rapt withal, to me you speak not. If you can look into the seas of time, and say which grain will grow and which will not, speak then to me, who neither beg nor fear your favours nor your hate. Hail!
Hail.
Hail.
Lesser than Macbeth, and greater.
Not so happy, yet much happier.
Thou shalt get kings, though thou be none. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo.
Banquo and Macbeth, all hail.
Seekers, tell me more. By Sinel's death, I know I am Thane of Glamis. But how of Cawdor? The Thane of Cawdor lives, a prosperous gentleman, and to be king stands not within the prospect of belief, no more than to be Cawdor. From whence you owed this strange intelligence? Or why upon this blasted heath you stop our way with such prophetic greeting? Speak, I charge you!
And with that, the witches vanish.
The earth has bubbles as the water has, and these are of them. Whither are they vanished?
Into the air, and what seemed corporal melted as breath into the wind. Would they have made?
Were such things here as we do speak about? Or have we eaten on the insane route that takes the reason prisoner?
Children should be kings.
You shall be king.
And Thane of Cawdor too. Went it not so?
To the selfsame tune and words. Who's here?
Ross and Angus enter.
The king hath happily received, Macbeth, the news of thy success. And when he reads thy personal venture in the rebels' fight, his wonders and his praises do contend, which should be thine or his. Silenced with that, in viewing o'er the rest of the self-same day, he finds thee in the stout Norwegian ranks, nothing afeard of what thyself didst make, strange images of death. As thick as hail came post with post, and every one did bear thy praises in his kingdom's great defence, and poured them down before him.
We are sent to give thee from our royal master thanks, only to herald thee into his sight, not pay thee.
And for an earnest of a greater honour, he bade me from him call thee Thane of Cawdor, in which edition hail, most worthy Thane, for it is thine.
What? Can the devil speak true?
Robes.
Who was the Thane lives yet, but under heavy judgment bets that life which he deserves to lose. Whether he was combined with those of Norway, or did he lie the level with hidden help and vantage, or that with both he laboured in his country's wreck, I know not. But treason's capital, confessed and proved, have overthrown him.
Glamis. And Thane of Cawdor. The greatest is behind. Thanks for your pains. Do you not hope that your children shall be kings, when those that gave them the Thane of Cawdor to me promised no less to them?
That trusted home might yet enkindle you unto the crown, besides the Thane of Cawdor. But 'tis strange, and oftentimes, to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truths. Win us with honest trifles to betrays in deepest consequence. Cousins, a word, I pray you.
The truths are told of as happy prologues to the swelling act of the imperial theme. Gentlemen, I thank you. This supernatural soliciting cannot be ill, cannot be good. If ill, why hath it given me earnest of success, commencing in a truth? I'm Thane of Cawdor. If good, why do I yield to that suggestion whose horrid image doth unfix my hair, and make my seated heart knock at my ribs against the use of nature? Present fears are less than horrible imaginings. My thought, whose murder yet is but fantastical, shakes so my single state of man that function is smothered in surmise, and nothing is but what is not.
Look, how our partners rapt.
If chance will have me king, why chance may crown me without my stir.
New horrors come upon him, like our strange garments cleave not to their mould, but with the aid of use.
Come what come may, time and the hour runs to the roughest day.
Worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure.
Give me your favour. My dull brain was wrought with things forgotten. Kind gentlemen, your pains are registered where every day I turn the leaf to read them. Let us toward the king. Think upon what hath chanced, and at more time, the interim having weighed it, let us speak our free hearts to one another.
Very gladly.
Till then, enough. Come, friends.
And they all exit. Act 1, Scene 4. Forres, the palace. There is a flourish, and Duncan, Malcolm, Donalbain, Lennox, and attendants enter.
Pretend crown can't fall off if it's under the headphones. Is execution done on Cawdor? Are not those in commission yet returned?
My liege, they are not yet come back, but I have spoke with one that saw him die. He did report that very frankly he confessed his treasons, implored your highness's pardon, and set forth a deep repentance. Nothing in his life became him like the leaving it. He died as one that had been studied in his death, to throw away the dearest thing he owed as 'twere a careless trifle.
There's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. He was a gentleman on whom I built an absolute trust.
Enter Macbeth, Banquo, Ross, and Angus.
Oh, worthiest cousin! The sin of my ingratitude even now was heavy on me. Thou art so far before the swiftest wing of recompense is slow to overtake thee. Wouldst thou hast left deserved that the proportion both of thanks and payment might have been mine. Only I have left to say, more is thy due, the more than all I can pay.
But in doing it pays itself. Your Highness' part is to receive our duties, and our duties are to your throne and state children and servants, which do but what they should by doing everything safe toward your love and honour.
Welcome hither. I have begun to plant thee, and will labour to make thee full of growing. Noble Banquo, thou hast no left deserved, nor must be known, no less to have done so. Let me enfold thee and hold thee to my heart.
There, if I grow, the harvest is your own.
My plenteous joys, wanton in fullness, seek to hide themselves in drops of sorrow. Sons, kinsmen, thanes, and you whose places are the nearest, know we will establish our estate upon our eldest, Malcolm, whom we name hereafter the Prince of Cumberland, which honour must not be accompanied, invest him only, but signs of nobleness like stars shall shine on all deservers. From here to Inverness, and bind us further to you.
The rest is labour, which is not used for you. I'll be myself the harbinger, and make joyful the hearing of my wife with your approach. So humbly take my leave.
My worthy Cawdor.
Cumberland, that is a step, on which I must fall down, or else I will leap, for in my way it lies. Stars, hide your fires. Let not light see my black and deep desires. The eye wink at the hand, yet let that be, which the eye fears, when it is done, to see.
And Macbeth exits.
True, worthy Banquo, he is full so valiant, and in his commendations I am fed. It is a banquet to me. Let's after him, whose care is gone before to bid us welcome. It is a peerless kinsman.
There is a flourish, and they all leave. Act 1, Scene 5. Inverness and Macbeth's castle. Enter Lady Macbeth, reading a letter.
They met me in the day of success, and I have learned by the perfect report they have more in them than mortal knowledge. When I burned in desire to question them further, then they made themselves air, to which they vanished. Whilst I stood wrapped in the wonder of it, came missives from the king, who all hailed Thane of Cawdor, by which title before these weird sisters saluted me and referred me to the coming on of time with "Hail, King that shalt be." This have I thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that thou might not lose the dues of rejoicing by being ignorant of what greatness is promised thee. Lay it to thy heart, and farewell. Glamis, thou art, and Cawdor, and shall be, what true art promised. Yet do I fear thy nature. It is too full of milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great, art not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. What thou wouldst highly, that wouldst thou wholly. Wouldst not play false, and yet wouldst wrongly win. Thou'st have, great Galmis, that which cries thus thou must do, if thou have it. And what would rather thou dost fear to thee than wishest should be undone? Hie thee hither, and I may pour my spirits in thine eye and ear, and chastise with the valour of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round, which fate and metaphysical aid doth seem to have thee crowned withal.
And a messenger enters.
What is your tidings?
The king comes here tonight.
Thou was mad to say it. Is not thy master with him? Who, weren't so, would have informed for preparations?
So please you, it is true. Our Thane is coming. One of my fellows had the speed of him, who, almost dead for breath, had scarcely more than would make up his message.
Give him tendings. He brings great news.
The messenger leaves.
The raven himself is horse. That croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here, and fill me from the crown to the toe top full of dearest cruelty. Make thick my blood, stop up the excess and passage to remorse, that no compunctious visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, nor keep peace between the fact and it. Come to my women's breasts, and take my milk for gall, you murdering ministers, whenever in your sightless substances you wait on nature's mischief. Come, thick night, and pall thee in the dunnest smoke of hell, that my keen knife see not the wound it makes, nor heaven peep through the darkness of blanket of the dark, to cry, hold, hold.
Macbeth enters.
Great Glamis, worthy Cawdor, greater than both by the all-hail hereafter. Thy letter has transported me beyond this ignorant present, and I feel now the future in the instant.
Dearest love, Duncan comes here tonight.
And when goes hence?
Tomorrow, as he purposes.
Oh, never shall sun that morrow see. Your face, my Thane, is as a book where men may read strange matters, to beguile the time. Look like the time, bear welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. He that's coming must be provided for, and you shall put this night's great business into my dispatch, which shall, to all our nights and days to come, give solely sovereign sway and masterdom.
We will speak further.
Only look up clear. To all the favour ever is to fear, leave all the rest to me.
They both leave. Act 1, Scene 6, before Macbeth's castle. There are hautboys and torches. Enter Duncan, Malcolm, Donalbain, Banquo, Lennox, Macduff, Ross, Angus, and attendants.
This castle hath a pleasant seat. The air nimbly and sweetly recommends itself unto our gentle senses.
This guest of summer the temple-haunting martlet does approve. By his loved mansionry, that the heaven's breath smells wooingly here, no jutty, friege, buttress, nor coign of vantage, but this bird hath made his pendant bed and procreant cradle, where they most breed and haunt. I have observed the air is delicate.
Lady Macbeth enters.
Ah, see, our honoured hostess. The love that follows us is sometime in our trouble, which we still thank as love. Herein I teach you how you shall bid God ild for us for your pains, and thank you for your trouble.
All our service in every point twice done, and then done double, were poor and single business to contend. Against those honours deep and broad within your majesty loads our house. For those of old, and the late dignities heap up to them, we rest your hermits.
Where's the Thane of Cawdor? We coursed him at the heels, and had a purpose to be his purveyor. But he rides well, and his great love, sharp as his spur, has holp him to his home before us. Fair and noble hostess, we are your guest tonight.
Your servants ever have theirs themselves, and what is theirs incomed to make their audit of your highness' pleasure, still to return your own.
Give me your hand. Conduct me to thy host. We love him highly, and shall continue our graces towards him. By your leave, hostess.
And they leave. Act 1, Scene 7, Macbeth's Castle. There are hallways and torches. Enter a sewer and divers. Servants with dishes and service, and pass over the stage. Then enter Macbeth.
If it was done when 'tis done, then 'twere well it were done quickly. If the assassination could trammel at the consequence and catch with his surceased success, that but this blow might be the be-all and the end-all here. But here, upon this bank and shoal of time, we jump the life to come. But in these cases we still have judgment here, that we but teach bloody instructions which, being taught, return to plague the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poisoned chalice to our own lips. He's here in double trust. First, as I am his kinsman, and his subjects, strong both against the deed. Then, as his host, who should against his murderer shut the door, not bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office, that his virtues will plead like nations' trumpet tongues against the deep damnation of his taking off, and pity, like a naked newborn babe striding the blast, or heaven's cherubim horsed upon the sightless couriers of the air, shall blow the horrid deed in every eye, that tears shall drown the wind. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition, which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other.
Lady Macbeth enters.
How now? What news?
Yes, almost suppered. Why have you left your chamber?
Hath he asked for me?
Know you not he has?
We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honoured me of late, and I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which would be worn now in their newest gloss. Sight so soon.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Has it slept since? And wakes it now to look so green and pale, and what it did so freely? From this time such I account thy love. Art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act and valour as thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have that which thou esteem the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not, wait upon I would, like the poor cat in the appendage?
Peace. I dare do all that may become a man who dares do more as none.
What beast was then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you dost do it, then you were a man, and And to be more than what you were, you would be so much more than the man. Nor time, nor place did they not hear, and yet you would make both. They have made themselves, that their fitness now does unmake you. I have given suck and known how tender it is to love the babe that milks me. I would, while I was smiling on my face, have plucked my nibble from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out had I sworn as you have done to this.
And if we shall fail,
We fail! But screw your courage to the sticking place, and we'll not fail. When Duncan is asleep, whereto the rather shall his day's hard journey soundly invite him, his 2 chamberlains will I with wine and wassail to convince that memory the water of the brain shall be a fume, and the receipt of reason a limbrick only. When in swinnest sleep, that drenched natures lie as in death. What cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? What not put upon his spongy officers, who shall bear the guilt of our great quells?
forth men children only, for thy undaunted mettle should compose nothing but males. Will it not be received when we have marked with blood those sleepy 2 of his own chamber, and used their very daggers that they have done it?
Who dares receive it other? Shall we make, as we shall make our griefs and clamour roar upon his death?
Unsettled, and bend up each corporal agent to this terrible feat. Away, and mock the time with fairest show. False face must hide what the false heart doth know.
And they leave. So we start Act 2, Scene 1, in the court of Macbeth's castle. Enter Banquo and Fleance bearing a torch before him. The moon is down, I have not heard the clock.
And she goes down at 12.
I take it 'tis later, sir.
Hold, take my sword, there's husbandry in heaven. Their candles are all out, take thee that too. A heavy summons lies like lead upon me, and yet I would not sleep. Merciful powers restrain in me the cursed thoughts that nature gives way to in repose.
Macbeth enters with a servant who is holding a torch.
Give me my sword, who's there?
A friend.
What, sir? Not yet at rest? The king's abed, he hath been in unusual pleasure, and sent forth great largesse to your officers. This diamond he greets your wife withal, by the name of the most kind hostess, and shut up in measureless content.
Being unprepared, our will became the servant to defect. Which else should we have wrought?
All's well, I dreamt last night of the 3 weird sisters. To you they have showed some truth.
I think not of them. Yet, when we can entreat an hour to serve, we would spend it in some words upon that business, if you would grant the time.
At your kind pleasure.
If you shall cleave to my consent when 'tis, it shall make honour for you.
So I lose none in seeking to augment it, but still keep my bosom franchised and allegiance clear. I shall be counselled.
Good. Repose a while.
Thanks, sir. The like to you.
Banquo and Fleance leave.
My mistress, when my drink is ready, she strike upon the bell. Get thee to bed.
The servant leaves.
The dagger, which I see before me, the handle towards my hand. Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not fatal vision, sensible? to feeling as to sight, or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation proceeding from the heat of thy brain? I see thee yet, in form as palpable as this which now I draw. Thou marshalst me the way that I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools of the other senses, or else worth all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy blade and dudgeon gouts of blood. It's not so before. There's no such thing. It is a bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Now, o'er the one half-world nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtained sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings. Withered murder, alarmed by his sentinel, the wolf whose howls his watch, thus with his stealthy pace, with Tarquin's ravishing strides towards his design, moves like a ghost. Sure and firm set earth, hear not my steps, which way they walk, for fear thy very stones prate of my whereabout, and take the present horror from the time which now suits with it. While I threat, he lives. Words to the heat of deeds too cold breath gives.
A bell rings.
I go, and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell. Summons thee, heaven, or to hell.
And he leaves. Act 2, Scene 2, the same, Macbeth's castle. Enter Lady Macbeth.
That with that which hath made them drunk hath made me bold. What hath quenched them hath given me fire. Hark, peace! It was the owl that shrieked, the fatal bellman, which gives the stern good night. He is about it. The doors are open, and the surfeit grooms do mock their charges with snores. I have drugged their possessed, that death and nature do contend with them, whether they live or die.
What? Oh!
Alack, I am afraid they have awakened, and 'tis not done. The attempt and not the deed confounds us. Hark, he laid their daggers ready. He could not miss 'em. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I had done.
Macbeth enters.
My husband.
I've done the... Did hear a noise?
I heard the owl scream and the crickets cry. Did not you speak?
When?
Now?
As I descended?
I.
Hark! Who lies in the second chamber?
Olbane.
Oh, this is a sorry sight.
Your hands. A foolish thought, to say a sorry sight.
One in sleep, and one cried murder, that they did wake each other. I stood and heard them. They did say their prayers and addressed them again to sleep.
Two lodged together.
One cried, God bless us, and amen. The other, as they had seen me with these hangman's hands, listening in their fear. I could not say amen when they did say, God bless us.
Consider it not so deeply.
Could not I pronounce amen? I had most need of blessing. An amen stuck in my throat.
These deeds must not be thought after these ways. So it will make us mad.
Methought I heard a voice cry, sleep no more. Macbeth does murder sleep, the innocent sleep, sleep that knits up the ravelled sleep of care, the death of each day's life, sore labour's bath, balm of hurt mind's great nature's second course, chief nourisher in life's feast.
You mean?
Till it cried sleep no more to all the house. Glamis hath murdered sleep, and therefore Cawdor shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Who was it that cried thus? Why, worthy Thane, you do unbend your noble strength to think so brain-sickly of things. Go get some water and wash this filthy witness from your hand. Why did you bring these daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go, carry them and smear the sleepy grooms with blood.
I'll go no more. I'm afraid to think what I have done. Look on't again I dare not.
Infirm of purpose. Give me the daggers. The sleeping and the dead are but as pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fear a painted devil. If you do bleed, I'll gilt the faces of the grooms withal, for it must seem their guilt.
She leaves, and there is a knocking within.
Is that knocking? Where every knock appalls me. What hands are here? They pluck out mine own eyes. With all great Neptune's ocean wash his blood clean from my hand? No. This my hand will rather the multitudinous seas in Incarnadine, making the green one red.
Lady Macbeth re-enters.
Hands of your colours, but I shame to wear a heart so white. I hear knocking. At the south entry, retire us to our chamber. A little water clears us of this deed. How easy it is then? Your constancy has left you unattended. Hark! More knocking. Get on your nightgown, lest occasion calls us, and shows us to be watchers. Be not lost so poorly in your thoughts.
Not myself. Awake, Duncan, with thy knocking. I would thou couldst.
And they leave. Act 2, Scene 3, the same. There is a knocking within, and the porter enters.
Here's a knocking indeed. If a man were porter of Hellgate, he should have old turned the key. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there in the name of Beelzebub? He is a farmer that hanged himself on the expectations of plenty. Come in time. Have napkins and know about you. Here you'll swear for it. Knock, knock. Who's there? In the other's devil's name. Faith, he is an equivocator that could swear in both scales against either scale, committed treasons enough for God's sake, yet could not equivocate to heaven. Oh, come in, equivocator. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there? Faith, here's an English tailor, come hither, for stealing out of a French hose. Come in, tailor. Here you may roast your goose. Knock, knock. Never at quiet. What are you? But this place is too cold for hell. I'll devil porter it no further. I had thought to have let it some of all professions that go to the primrose way, to the everlasting bonfire. Anon, anon, I pray you, remember the porter.
The porter opens the gate, and Macduff and Lennox enter.
Was it so late, friendy, you went to bed that you lie so late?
Faith, sir, we were carousing till the second cock. And drink, sir, is a great provoker of free things.
What free things does drink especially provoke?
Marry, sir, nose painting, sleep, and urine. Lechery, sir, it provokes and unprovokes. It provokes the desire, but it takes away the performance. Therefore, much drink may be said to be an equivocator with lechery. It makes him and it mars him. It sets him on and it takes him off. It persuades him and disheartens him. Makes him stand to and not stand to. In conclusion, equivocates him in a sleep, and giving him the lie, leaves him.
I believe drink gave thee the lie last night.
That it is, sir. It is very proud of me, but I requited him for his lie, and I think being too strong for him, though he took up my legs sometime, yet I made a shift to cast him.
Is thy master stirring?
Macbeth enters.
Our knocking has awakened him. Here he comes.
Good morrow, noble sir.
Is the king stirring, worthy Thane? He did demand me to call timely on him. I've almost slipped the hour.
I'll bring you to him.
I know this is a joyful trouble to you, but yet 'tis one.
The labour we delight in physics pain. This is the door.
I'll make so bold to call, for 'tis my limited service.
Macduff leaves.
Goes the king hence today?
He does. He did appoint so.
The night has been unruly where we lay. Our chimneys were blown down, and as they say, lamentings heard in the air, strange screams of death, and prophesying with accents terrible, with dire combustion and confused events, new hatched to the woeful time the obscure bird, clamoured the livelong night, some say the earth was feverish and did shake. My young remembrance cannot parallel a fellow to it.
Macduff re-enters.
Oh, horror, horror, horror. Tongue nor heart cannot conceive nor name thee. Confusion now hath made his masterpiece. No sacrilegious murder hath broke ope the Lord's anointed temple and stole thence the life of the building.
What is it you say? The life? What is it you say? The life?
Approach the chamber and destroy your sight with a new gorgon. Do not bid me speak. See, then speak yourselves.
Macbeth and Lennox leave.
Awake! Awake! Ring the alarum bell! Murder! Treason! Banquo and Donalbain, Malcolm, awake! Shake off this downy sleep, death's counterfeit, and look on death itself. Up, up, and see the great doom's image, Malcolm, Banquo! As from your graves rise up and walk like sprites to the countenance this horror. Ring the bell!
A bell rings, and Lady Macbeth enters.
What's the business that such a hideous trumpet calls to parley the sleepers of this house? Speak! Speak!
Oh, gentle lady, 'tis not for you to hear what I can speak. The repetition in a woman's ear would murder as it fell.
Banquo enters.
Oh, Banquo, Banquo, our royal master's murdered!
Oh, alas. What, in our house?
Too cruel anywhere. Dear Duff, I prithee, contradict thyself, and say it is not so.
Macbeth and Lennox re-enter with Ross.
But died an hour before this chance. I'd have lived a blessed time, for from this instant there's nothing serious in mortality. All is but toys. Renown and grace is dead. The wine of life is drawn, and the mere lease is left this vault to brag of.
Malcolm and Donalbain enter. What is amiss?
You are, and do not note. spring, the head, the fountain of your blood is stopped. The very source of it is stopped.
Your royal father's murdered.
Oh, by whom?
Those of his chamber, as it seemed, we had dunned. Their hands and faces were embadged with blood, so were their daggers, which unwiped we found upon their pillows. They stared and were distracted. No man's life was to be trusted with them.
Yet I do repent me of my fury that I did kill them.
Wherefore did you so?
Wise, amazed, temperate, and furious, loyal and neutral in a moment. No, man. The expedition my violent love outrun the pause of reason. Here lay Duncan, his silver skin laced with his golden blood, and his gashed stabs looked like a breach in nature for ruin's wasteful entrance. There, the murderers, steeped in the colours of their trade, their daggers unmannily breached with gore. Who could refrain that had a heart to love, and in that heart courage to make love's known?
Help me hence. Ho!
Look to the lady.
Why do we hold our tongues that most may claim this argument for ours?
What should be spoken here where our fate, hid in an auger hole, may rush and seize us? Let's away, our tears are not yet brewed.
Nor our strong sorrow upon the foot of motion.
Look to the lady.
Lady Macbeth is carried out.
And when we have our naked frailties hid, that suffering exposure let us meet, and question this most bloody piece of work. To know it further, fears and scruples shake us. In the great hand of God I stand, and thence against the undivulged pretence I fight of treasonous malice.
And so do I.
So all. Let's briefly put on manly readiness and meet to the hall together. Well contented.
Well contented.
And they all leave except Malcolm and Donalbain.
What will you do? Let's not consort with them. To show an unfelt sorrow is an office which the false man does easily. I'll to England.
To Ireland, our separated fortune shall keep us both the safer. Where we are, there's daggers in men's smiles, the near in blood, the nearer bloody.
This murderous shaft that's shot hath not yet lighted, and our safest way is to avoid the aim. Therefore to horse. And let us not be dainty of leave-taking and shift away. There's warrant in that theft which steals itself when there's no mercy left.
And they leave. Act 2, Scene 4, outside Macbeth's castle. Enter Ross and an old man.
70 I can remember well, within the volume of which time I have seen hours dreadful and things strange, but this so night hath trifled for my knowing.
Ah, good father, thou seest the heavens, as troubled with man's act, threaten his bloody stage. By the clock 'tis day, and yet dark night strangles the travelling lamp. Is't night's predominance or the day's shame that darkness does the face of earth and tomb, when living light should kiss it?
'Tis unnatural, even like the deed that's done. On Tuesday last, a falcon towering in her plaid of praise was by a mousing owl hawked and killed her.
And Duncan's horses, a thing most strange and certain, beauteous and swift, the minions of their race, turned wild in nature, broke their stalls, flung out, contending against obedience, as they would make war with mankind.
'Tis said they eat each other.
They did so, to the amazement of mine eyes that looked upon't. Oh, here comes Macbeth. How
Enter
goes the
Macbeth.
world, sir, now?
Why, see you not?
Is't known who did this more than bloody deed?
those that Macbeth have slain.
Alas, the day. What good could they pretend?
They were suborned. Malcolm and Donalbain, the king's two sons, are stolen away and fled, which puts upon them suspicion of the deed.
Against nature still. Thriftless ambition that wilt raven up thine own life's means. 'Tis most like the sovereignty will fall upon Macbeth.
He is already named and gone to Scone to be invested.
Where is Duncan's body?
Carried to Colmskill, the sacred storehouse of his predecessors and guardians of their bones.
Will you to Scone?
No, cousin, I'll to Fife.
Well, I will thither.
Well, may you see things well done there. Adieu, lest our old robes sit easier than our new.
Farewell, father.
God's benison go with you, and with those that would make good of bad and friends of foes.
And they all leave. And with that, we are at the end of Act 2, and we're going to take a brief intermission. Thank you for joining us. I hope you're having a good time, and we will be back in 15 minutes. Good evening, friends, and welcome, or welcome back, to our performance of Facecam Macbeth. I hope you all had a good intermission, and we will start again with Act 3, Scene 1, at Forres, the Palace. Enter Banquo.
Thou hast it now, King Cawdor. Glamis all. As the weird women promised, and I fear, thou play'st most foully for't, yet it was said, it should not stand in thy posterity, but that myself should be the root and father of many kings, if there come truth from them, as upon thee, Macbeth, their speeches shine. Why, by the verities on thee made good, may they not be my oracles as well, and set me up in hope? But hush, no more.
There is a senate sounded. Enter Macbeth as king, Lady Macbeth as queen, Lennox, Ross, lords, ladies, and attendants.
Yes.
If he had been forgotten, it had been as a gap in our great feasts, and all things unbecoming.
We hold a solemn supper, sir, and I'll request your presence.
Let your highness command upon me, to the which my duties are with the most indissoluble tie for ever knit. Ay, my good lord, I did ride this afternoon.
We should have else desired your good advice, which still hath been both grave and prosperous in this day's council, but will take tomorrow. As far you ride?
As far, my lord, as will fill up time. Twixt this and supper go not my horse the better, and must become a borrower of the night, for a dark hour or twain.
Fail not our feast.
My lord, I will not.
We hear our bloody cousins are bestowed in England and in Ireland, not confessing their cruel parricide, filling their hearers with strange invention, but of that tomorrow, when therewithal we shall have cause of state craving us jointly. Hie you to horse. Adieu at night. Goes Fleance with you.
Hi, my good lord, our time does call upon us.
I wish your horses swift and sure of foot, and so I do commend you to their backs. Farewell.
Banquo leaves.
Let every man be master of his time till 7 at night. To make society the sweeter welcome, we will keep ourselves till supper time alone. While then, God be with you.
Everyone except Macbeth and an attendant leaves.
A word with you? Attend those men our pleasure?
They are, my lord, without the palace gate.
Bring them before us.
The attendant leaves.
Nothing, but to be safely thus. Our fears in Banquo stick deep, and in his royalty of nature reigns that which would be feared. 'Tis much he dares, and to that dauntless temper of his mind he hath a wisdom that doth guide his valour to act in safety. There is none but he whose being I do fear, and under him my genius is rebuked. As it is said Mark Antony's was by Caesar, he chid the sisters when first they put the name of king upon me, and bade them speak to him. Then prophet-like they hailed him father to a line of kings. Upon my head they placed a fruitless crown, and put a barren sceptre in my gripe, thence to be wrenched with an unlineal hand, no son of mine succeeding. If it be so, Banquo's issue I have filed to my mind. But them, the gracious Duncan, have I murdered, put rancors in the vessel of my peace only for them, and mine eternal jewel given to the common enemy of man, to make them kings, a seed of Banquo kings. Rather than so come fate into the list, and champion me to the utterance. Who's there?
The attendant re-enters with 2 murderers.
Door, and stay there until we call.
And the attendant leaves.
It was, so please your highness.
Well then, now, have you considered of my speeches? Know that it was he in the times past which held you so under fortune, which you thought had been our innocent self. This I made good to you. In our last conference, passed in probation with you, how you were borne in hand, how crossed the instruments, who wrought with them, and all things else that might to half a soul and to a notion crazed say, thus did banquet.
You made it known to us.
I did so, and went further, which is now our point of second meeting. Do you find your patience so predominant in your nature that you can let this go? Are you so gospelled to pray for this good man and for his issue, whose heavy hand hath bowed you to the grave and beggared yours forever?
We are men, my liege.
Aye, in the catalogue ye go for men, as hounds and greyhounds, mongrels, spaniels, curs, chows, waters, and demi-wolves are collect all by the name of dogs. The valued file distinguishes the swift, the slow, the subtle, the housekeeper, the hunter, every one according to the gift which bounteous nature hath in him closed, whereby he does receive particular addition from the bill that writes them all alike, and so of men. Now, if you have a station in the file, not in the worst rank of manhood, say it, and I will put that business in your bosoms, whose execution takes your enemy off, grapples you to the heart and love of us, who wear our health but sickly in his life, which in his death were perfect.
I am one, my liege, whom the vile blows and buffets of the world have so incensed that I am reckless what I do to spite the world.
And I another, so weary with disasters, tugged with fortune, that I would set my lie on any chance to mend it or be rid of it.
Both of you know Banquo was your enemy.
True, my
True,
lord.
my lord.
So is he mine. And in such bloody distance that every minute of his being thrusts against my nearest life, and though I could with barefaced power sweep him from my sight and bid my will avouch it, yet I must not, for certain friends that are both his and mine, whose loves I may not drop but wail his fall, who I myself struck down, and thence it is that I to your assistance do make love, masking the business from the common eye for sundry weighty reasons.
We shall, my lord, perform what you command us.
Though our lives...
Your spirits shine through you. Within this hour at most, I will advise you where to plant yourselves, acquaint you with the perfect spy of the time, the moment on't. What must be done tonight, and something from the palace. Always thought that I require a clearness, and with him to leave no rubs nor botches in the work. Fleance, his son, that keeps him company, whose absence is no less material to me than is his father's, must embrace the fate of that dark hour. Resolve yourselves apart. I'll come to you anon.
We are
resolved, my lord.
I'll call upon you straight. Abide within.
The murderers leave.
It is concluded. Banquo, thy soul's flight, if it find heaven, must find it out tonight.
And Macbeth leaves. Act 3, Scene 2, the palace. Enter Lady Macbeth and a servant.
Is Banquo gone from court?
Aye, madam, but returns again tonight.
Say to the king I would attend his leisure. For a few words.
Madam, I will.
And the servant leaves.
All sad, all spent, where desires got without content. To savour to be that which we destroy, and by destruction dwell in doubtful joy.
Macbeth enters.
How now, my lord? Why do you keep alone? Of sorry fancies your companions making, using those thoughts which should indeed have died with them they think on? Things without all remedy should be without regard. What's done is done.
He has scotched the snake, not killed it. She'll close and be herself, whilst our poor Malice remains in danger of her former tooth. But let the frames of things disjoint both the worlds suffer, ere we will eat our meal in fear and sleep. In the affliction of these terrible dreams that shake us nightly, better be with the dead whom we, to gain our peace, have sent to peace, than on the torture of the mind to lie in restless ecstasy. Duncan is in his grave. After Light's fitful fever, he sleeps well. Treason has done his worst, nor steel nor poison, malice domestic, foreign levy, nothing can touch him further.
Come on. Gentle, my lord. Sleek all you rugged looks. Be bright and jovial among your guests tonight.
So shall I, love, and so I pray be you. Let your remembrance apply to Banquo. Present him eminence both with eye and with tongue, unsafe the while that we must lave our honours in these flattering streams, and make our faces visards to our hearts, disguising what they are.
You must leave this.
Oh, full of scorpions is my mind, my dear wife. Thou knowest that Banquo and his flayance lives.
But in them nature's copies not etern.
There's comfort yet. They are assailable. Then be thou jocund. Ere the bat hath flown his cloistered fight, ere to black Hecate's summons the shard-born beetle with his drowsy hums hath rung night's yawning peal, there shall be done a deed of dreadful note.
What's to be done?
Be innocent of the knowledge, dearest Chuck, till thou applaud the deed. Come, sealing night, scarf up the tender eye of pitiful day, and with thy bloody and invisible hand cancel and tear to pieces that great bond which keeps me pale. Light thickens, and the crow makes wings to the rooky wood. Good things of day begin to droop and drowse, whilst night's black agents to their praise do rouse. Thou marvelst at my words. Hold thee still. Things bad begun make strong themselves by ill. So prithee, go with me.
They exit. Act 3, Scene 3. A park near the palace. Enter 3 murderers.
But who did bid thee join with us?
Macbeth.
He needs not our mistrust, since he delivers our offices and what we have to do to the direction just.
Then stand with us. The west yet glimmers with some streaks of day, now spurs the lated traveller apace to gain the timely inn, and near approaches the subject of our watch.
Hark, I hear horses. Give us a light there, ho!
Ah, then 'tis he. The rest that are within the note of expectation already are in the court.
His horses go about.
Almost a mile, but he does usually, so all men do, from hence to the palace gate make their walk.
A light! A light!
Banquo and Fleance enter with a torch.
'Tis he.
Stand to it.
It will be rain tonight.
Let it come down.
And they set upon Banquo.
O treachery! Fly, good Fleance, fly, fly! Thou mayst revenge. Oh, slave!
Banquo dies, and Fleance escapes.
Who did strike out the light?
Was not the way?
There's but one down. The sun is fled.
We've lost best half of our affair.
Well, let's away and say how much is done.
And they leave. Act 3, Scene 4, the same, a hall in the palace. There is a banquet prepared. Enter Macbeth, Lady Macbeth, Ross, Lennox, lords and attendants.
Down first and last, the hearty welcome.
Thanks to your majesty.
Ourself will mingle with society and play the humble host. Our hostess keeps her state, but in best time we will require her welcome.
Pronounce it for me, sir, to all our friends. For my heart speaks they are welcome.
The first murderer appears at the door.
See, they encounter thee with their hearts thanks. Both sides are even here. I'll sit in the midst. Be large in mirth, anon will drink a measure the table round. There's blood on thy face.
'Tis Banquo's then.
'Tis better thee without than he within. Is he dispatched?
My lord, his throat is cut. That I did for him.
Thou art the best of the cutthroats, yet he's good, that did the like with Fleance. If thou didst it, thou art the nonpareil.
Most royal, sir, Fleance is escaped.
Then comes my fit again. I had else been perfect. Whole of the marble founded as a rock, as broad and general at the casing air. But now I am cabined, cribbed, confined, bound into saucy doubts and fears. The Banquo safe?
Ay, my good lord, safe in a ditch he bides, with 20 trenched gashes on his head, the least a death to nature.
Thanks for that. There the grown serpent lies, the worm that's fled hath nature in time will venom breed. No tease for the present. Get thee gone. Tomorrow we'll hear ourselves again.
The murderer leaves.
My royal lord, you do not give the cheer. The feast is sold, that is not often vouched. While 'tis a making, 'tis given with welcome. To feed were best at home, from thence the source to meat is ceremony. Meeting were bare without it.
Sweet remembrance, sir. Now, good digestion, weight on appetite, and health on both.
May it please your highness sit.
The ghost of Banquo enters and sits in Macbeth's place.
Here had we now our country's honour roofed, where the graced person of our Banquo present, who may I rather challenge for unkindness than pity for mischance.
His absence, sir, lays blame upon his promise. Pleased your highness to grace with us with your royal company.
The table's full.
Here's a place reserved, sir.
Where?
Here, my good lord. What is that moves your highness?
Done this.
What, my good lord?
Thou canst not say I did it. Never shake thy gory locks at me.
Gentlemen, rise. His highness is not well.
Sit, worthy friends. My lord is often thus, and hath been from his youth. Pray you, keep seat, and the fit is momentary. Upon a thought he will again be well. If much you note him, you shall offend him and extend his passion. Feed and regard him not. Are you a man?
Aye, and a bold one, that dare look on that which might appall the devil.
Oh, proper stuff. This is the very painting of your fear. This is the air-drawn dagger which you said led you to Duncan. Oh, these flows and starts, impostors to true fear, would well become a woman's story of a winter's fire, authorized by a grandam. Shame itself. Why do you make such faces? When all's done, you look but on a stool.
Behold, look, lo, say you. Aye, what care I? If thou canst not, speak to. If charnel houses and our graves must send those that we bury back, our monument shall be the moors of kites.
The ghost of Banquo vanishes.
What? Quite unmanned in folly?
Or
Fie, for shame.
blood hath been shed ere now. In the olden time ere human statute purged the gentle wheel, aye, and since too murders have been performed, too terrible for the ear. Times been that when the brains were out, the man would die and there an end. But now they rise again with 20 mortal murders on their crowns and push us from our stools. This is more strange than such a murder is.
My worthy lord, your noble friends do lack you.
I do forget. Do not muse at me, my most worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity which is nothing to those that know me. Come, love and health to all. Then I'll sit down. Give me some wine. Fill full. I drink to the general joy of the whole table, and to our dear friend Banquo, whom we miss, would he were here. To all and him we thirst, and all to all.
Our duties and the pledge.
The ghost of Banquo re-enters.
Avaunt! Let the thee. Marilus, thy blood cold, thou hast no speculation in those eyes which thou dost glare with.
Think of this, good peers, but as a thing of custom. 'Tis no other, only it spoils the pleasure of the time.
I dare thou, like the rugged Russian bear, the armed rhinoceros, or the Hyrcan tiger, take any shape but that, and my firm nerves shall never tremble or be alive again, and dare me to the desert with thy sword. If trembling I inhabit, then protest me the baby of a girl. Hence, horrible shadow, unreal mockery, hence!
The ghost of Banquo vanishes.
Pray you sit still.
You have displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting with most admired disorder.
Can such things be, and overcome us like a summer's cloud without our special wonder? You make me strange even to the disposition that I owe. And when now I think you can behold such sights and keep the natural ruby of your cheeks when mine is blanched with fear.
What sights, my lord?
Pray you speak not. He grows worse and worse. Questions enrages him. At once, good night. Stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once.
Good night, and better health attend his majesty.
And good night to all.
Everyone except Macbeth and Lady Macbeth leaves.
Will have blood, they say. Blood will have blood. Stones have been known to move and trees to speak. Augurs and understood relations have by maggot pies and chows and brooks brought forth the secrets of man's of blood. What is the night?
Almost at odds with morning, which is which?
Sayest thou that Macduff denies his person at our great bidding?
Did you send to him, sir?
Here, by the way. I will send. There's not a one of them but in his house. I keep a servant feed. I will tomorrow, and betimes I will to the weird sisters. Or shall I speak? For now I am bent to know, by the worst means the worst. For mine own good, all causes shall give way. I am in blood, stepped in so far that should I wait no more, returning were as tedious as go o'er. Strange things I have in head, will to hand, which must be acted ere they may be scanned.
You lack the season of all natures. Sleep.
Go to sleep. My strange and self-abuse is the initiate fear that wants hard use. We are yet but young indeed.
And they exit. Act 3, Scene 5, a heath. There is thunder, and the three witches enter, meeting Hecate.
Why, how now, Hecate, you look angrily.
Have I not reasoned bedowns as you are, saucy and overbold? How did you dare to trade and traffic with Macbeth in riddles? in the first of death. And I, the mistress of your charms, the close contriver of all harms, was never called to bear my part, or show the glory of our art, and which is worse, all you have done have been but for a wayward son, spiteful and wrathful, who as others do loves for his own ends, not for you, but make amends now. Get you gone, and at the pit of Acheron meet me in the morning. Meet thither he will come to know his destiny. Your vessels and your spells provide, your charms and everything beside. I am for the air. This night I'll spend until a dismal and fatal end. Great business must be wrought ere noon. Upon the corner of the moon there hangs a vaporous drop profound. I'll catch it ere it come to the ground, and that distilled by magic sleights shall raise such artificial sprites as by the strength of their illusion shall draw him on this confusion. He shall spurn faith, scorn death, and bear his hopes above wisdom, grace, and fear. And you all know security is mortal's chiefest enemy.
There is music and a song within. Come away, come away.
Hark, I am cold. My little spirit sea sits in a foggy cloud and stays for me.
And Hecate exits.
Come, let's make haste. She'll soon be back again.
And they exit. Act 3, Scene 6, at Forres, the palace. Enter Lennox and another lord.
My former speeches have but hit your thoughts, which can interpret further only, I say, things have been strangely born. The gracious Duncan was pitied of Macbeth, marry, he was dead, and the right valiant Banquo walked too late, whom you may say, if to please you, Fleance killed. For Fleance fled, men must not walk too late, who cannot want the thought how monstrous it was for Malcolm and for Donalbain to kill their gracious father. Damned fact! How did it grieve Macbeth? Did he not straight in pious rage the two delinquents tear, that were the slaves of drink and thralls of sleep? Was not that nobly done, aye, and wisely too? For 'twould have angered any heart alive, to hear the men deny it, so that, I say, he has borne all things well, and I do think, that had he Duncan's sons under his key, as unto please heaven he shall not, they should find what were to kill a father, so should Fleance. But, peace! For from broad words, and 'cause he failed his presence at the tyrant's feast, I hear Macduff lives in disgrace. Sir, can you tell where he bestows himself?
The son of Duncan, from whom this tyrant holds the due of birth, lives in the English court, and is received of the most pious Edward with such grace that the malevolence of fortune nothing takes from his high respect. Thither Macduff is gone to pray the holy king upon his aid, to wake Northumberland and warlike seaward, that, by the help of these, with him above to ratify the work, we may again give to our tables meat, sleep our nights free from our feasts and banquets' bloody knives, do faithful homage and receive free honours, all which we pine for now. And this report hath so exasperate the king that he prepares for some attempt at war.
Sent he to Macduff?
He did, and with an absolute, sir, not I, the cloudy messenger turns me his back, and hums as who should say, you'll rule the time that clogs me with this answer.
And that well might advise him to a caution to hold what distance his wisdom can provide. Some holy angel fly to the court of England and unfold his message ere he come, that a swift blessing may soon return this our suffering country under a hand accursed.
I'll send my prayers with him.
And they leave. Which brings us to Act 4, Scene 1, a cavern. In the middle there is a boiling cauldron. There is thunder, and the three witches enter.
Thrice the brinded cat hath mewed.
Thrice and once the hedge pig whined.
Harpier cries, 'tis time, 'tis time.
Round about the cauldron grow, in the poisoned entrails throw, toad that under cold stone days and nights has 31, sweltered venom sleeping got, boil thou first in the charmed pot.
Double,
Double,
toil
toil
and
and
trouble.
trouble.
Fire,
Fire
burn and cauldron bubble.
Fillet of a fenny snake, in the cauldron boil and bake, eye of newt and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog, adder's fork and blindworm's sting, lizard's leg and owlet's wing, for a charm of powerful trouble, like a hell broth boil and bubble.
double,
Double, toil and trouble. Fire, burn and cauldron bubble.
Scale of dragon, tooth of wolf, witch's mummy, moor and gulf, of the raven sea salt shark, root of hemlock digged in the dark, liver of the blaspheming man, gall of goat and sips of ewe, silvered in the moon's eclipse, nose of warrior, farmer's lips, finger of the birth strangled babe, ditch delivered by a drab, make the gruel thick and slab, add thereto a tiger's children for the ingredients of our cauldron.
Double,
Toil
and trouble. Fire, burn and cauldron bubble.
Cool it with a baboon's blood, then the charm is firm and good.
Hecate enters to the other three witches.
Oh, well done. I commend your pains, and everyone shall share the gains. And now about the cauldron sing, live elves and fairies in a ring, enchanting that all that you put in.
There is music and a song. Black spirits! Hecate retires.
By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. Open, locks, whoever knocks.
Macbeth enters.
Oh, you secret. How now, you secret black and midnight hags? What is't you do?
A
Deed
deed
without a name.
I conjure you, by that which you profess, how are you come to know it? Answer me. Though you untie the winds and let them fight against the churches, though the yeasty waves confound and swallow navigation up, though bladed corn be lodged and trees blown down, though castles topple on their waters' heads, though palaces and pyramids do slope their heads to their foundations, through the treasure of nature's germans tumble all together, even till destruction sicken. Answer me to what I ask you.
Speak.
Demand.
will answer.
Say, if thou'st rather hear it from our mouths or from our masters.
Column, let me see 'em.
Pour in South's blood that hath eaten her 9 farrow breasts that sweaten, from the murderer's gibbet throw into the flame.
Come
High or
low,
low, thyself
thyself
and
and
of
of it
it deftly
deftly
show.
show.
There is thunder, and the first apparition, an armed head.
Tell me. Thou unknown power.
He knows thy thought, hear his speech, but say thou naught.
Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth. Beware Macduff, beware the Thane of Fife. Dismiss me. Enough.
And the apparition descends.
Good caution, thanks. Thou hast harped my fear aright. One word more.
He will not be commanded. Here's another more potent than the first.
There is another clap of thunder, and the second apparition appears, a bloody child.
Here.
Macbeth,
Had I 3 ears, I'd hear thee.
be bloody, bold, and resolute. Laugh to scorn the power of man, for none of woman born shall harm Macbeth.
The second apparition descends.
I'll make assurance double sure, and take a bond of fate. Thou shalt not live, that I may tell pale-hearted fear it lies, and sleep in spite of thunder.
There is another clap of thunder, and the third apparition, a child crowned with a tree in his hand, appears.
That rides the issue of a king, and wears upon his baby brow the round and top of serenity.
Listen,
but speak
but not
not
speak
to it.
Be lion mettled, proud, and take no care who shaves, frets, or conspires are. Macbeth shall never vanquish, to be still, maybe until great Bernard Wood, to high dancing and hill, shall come to him.
And the third apparition descends.
You can bid the tree unfix his earth-bound root. Sweet Podament's good. Rebellion's head rise never till the wit of Burnham rise, and our high-placed Macbeth shall live the lease of nature, pay his breath to time and mortal custom. My heart throbs to know one thing. Tell me, if your art can tell so much, shall Banquo's issue ever reign in this kingdom?
Seek
Seek
to
to know no more.
I will be satisfied. Deny me this, and an eternal curse fall on you. Let me know, why sinks that cauldron, and what noise is this?
What bodies sound?
Show.
Show.
Show
Show
his eyes
eyes
and grieve his
his
heart.
heart.
Come like
like
shadows,
shadows.
so
So
depart.
A show of 8 kings appears, the last with a glass in his hand, the ghost of Banquo following them.
Like the spirit of Banquo. Down! Thy crown does sear mine eyeballs, and thy hair, thou other gold-bound brow is like the first, a third is like the former. Filthy hags, why do you show me this? A fourth, start, eyes. What? Will the line stretch out to the crack of doom? Another yet, a seventh. I'll see no more, and yet the eighth appears, who bears a glass which shows me many more, and some I see the twofold balls and treble sceptres carry. Horrible sight! Now I see 'tis true, for the blood-altered Banquo smiles upon me and points at them for his.
And the apparitions vanish.
What? Is this so?
Aye, sir, this is so, but why stands Macbeth thus amazedly? Come, sisters, cheery up his sprites, and show the best of our delights. I'll charm the air to give a sound, while you perform your antic round, that this great king may kindly say, our duties did his welcome play.
There is music. The witches dance and then vanish with Hecate.
Let this pernicious hour stand accursed in the calendar. Come in, without there!
Lennox enters.
What's your grace's will?
Are you the weird sisters?
No, my lord.
Came they not by you?
No, indeed, my lord.
Infected be the air whereon they ride, and damned all those that trust them. I did hear the galloping of horses. Who was it that came by?
'Tis 2 or 3, my lord, that bring you word. Macduff is fled to England.
Fled to England.
Hi, my good lord.
Thou anticipatest my dread exploits. A flighty purpose never is o'ertook, unless a deed go with it. For in this moment the very firstlings of my heart shall be the firstlings of my hand. And even now to crown my thoughts with acts, be it thought and done. The castle of Macduff I will surprise, seize upon and five, give to the edge of the sword his voice, his wife, his babes, and all unfortunate souls that trace him in his line. No boasting like a fool, this deed I'll do before this purpose cool. But no more sights. Where are these gentlemen? Come, bring me where they are.
And he leaves. Act 4, Scene 2. Act 5, Macduff's castle. Enter Lady Macduff, her son, and Ross.
What had he done to make him fly the land?
You must have patience, madam.
He had none. His sight was madness. When our actions do not, our fears make us traitors.
You know not whether it was his wisdom or his fear?
Wisdom? To leave his wife, to leave his babes, his mansion and his titles in a place from whence himself does fly? He loves us not. He was the natural touch for the poor wren. The most diminutive of birds will fight her young ones in her nest against the owl. All is the fear and nothing is the love. All, as little is the wisdom, where is the flight, so runs against all reason.
My dearest coz, I pray you, school yourself. But for your husband, he is noble, wise, judicious, and best knows the fits of the season. I dare not speak much further, but cruel are the times when we are traitors and do not know ourselves, when we hold rumour from what we fear, yet know not what we fear, but float upon a wild and violent sea each way and move. I take my leave of you. Shall not be long, but I'll be here again. Things at the worst will cease, or else climb upward to what they were before. My pretty cousin, blessing upon you.
Fathered he is, and yet he is fatherless.
I am so much a fool. Should I stay longer? It would be my disgrace and your discomfort. I take my leave at once.
And Ross exits.
Sarah, your father is dead. And what will you do now? How will you live?
As birds do, Mother.
What, with worms and flies?
With what I get, I mean, and so do they.
Poor bird. Thou'dst never fear the net, nor lime, the pitfall, nor the gin.
Why should I, Mother? Poor birds they are not set for. My father is not dead, for all your saying.
Yes, he is dead. How wilt thou do for a father?
Nay, how will you do for a husband?
Why, I can buy me 20 at any market.
Then you'll buy him to sell again.
Thou speakst with all thy wit, and yet he faith with wit enough for thee.
Was my father a traitor, Mother?
I thought he was.
What is a traitor?
Why? One that swears and lies.
And be all traitors that do so?
Everyone that does so is a traitor and must be hanged.
And must they all be hanged that swear and lie?
Everyone.
Who must hang them?
Why, the honest men.
Then the liars and swearers are fools, for there are liars and swearers, and now to beat the honest men and hang up them.
Now God help thee, poor monkey, but how wilt thou do for a father?
If he were dead, you'd weep for him. If you would not, it were a good sign that I should quickly have a new father.
Poor prattler, how thou talkst.
A messenger enters.
Bless you, fair dame. I am not to you known, though in your state of honour I am perfect. I doubt some danger does approach you nearly. If you will take a homely man's advice, be not found here. Hence, with your little ones. To fright you thus, methinks I am too savage. To do worse to you were fell cruelty, which is too nigh your person. Heaven preserve you. I dare abide no longer.
And the messenger exits.
Whither should I fly? I have done no harm, but I remember now I am in this earthly world, where to do harm is often laudable. To do good sometimes accounted dangerous folly. Why then, alas, do I put up that womanly defense, to say I have done no harm?
The murderers enter.
What are these faces?
Where is your husband?
I hope in no place so unsanctified, where such as thou mayst find him.
He's a traitor.
Thou liest, thou shag-haired villain!
What? You egg! Young fry of treachery!
He has killed me, Mother. Run away, I pray you.
And
Murder! Murder!
Macduff's son dies. Exit Lady Macduff, with the murderers following her. Act 4, Scene 3. In England, before the King's Palace. Enter Malcolm and Macduff.
Let us seek out some desolate shade, and there weep our sad bosoms empty.
Let us rather hold fast the mortal sword and like good men bestride our own downfall and birthdom. Each new morn, new widows howl, new orphans cry, new sorrows strike heaven on the face, that it resounds as if it felt with Scotland and yelled out like a syllable of dolor.
What I believe I'll wail, What I know, believe, and what I can redress, as I shall find the time to friend, I will. What you have spoke, it may so be perchance. This tyrant, whose sore name blisters our tongues, was once thought honest. You have loved him well. He hath not touched you yet. I am young. But something you may deserve of him through me, and wisdom, to offer up a poor, weak, innocent lamb to appease an angry god.
I am not treacherous.
But Macbeth is. A good and virtuous nature may recoil in an imperial charge, but I shall crave your pardon. That which you are my thoughts cannot transpose. Angels are bright still, though the brightest fell. Though all things foul will wear the brows of grace, yet grace must still look so.
I've lost my hopes.
Perchance even they are where I did find my doubts. Why, in that rawness left you wife and child. Those precious motives, those strong knots of loves, without leave taking. I pray you, let not my jealousies be your dishonours, but mine own safety. You may be rightly just, whatever I shall think.
Bleed, bleed, poor country. Great tyranny. Lay thou bases sure, for goodness dare not check thee, wear thou thy wrongs. The title is afeard. Fare thee well, lord. I would not be the villain that thou think'st, for the whole space that's in tyrant's grasp, and the rich east to boot.
Be not offended. I speak not as in absolute fear of you. I think our country sinks beneath the yoke. It weeps, it bleeds, and each day a new gash is added to her wounds. I think withal there would be hands uplifted in my right, and here from gracious England have I offer goodly thousands. But for all this, when I shall tread upon the tyrant's head, or wear it on my sword, yet my poor country shall have more vices than it had before, more suffer and more sundry ways than ever by him that shall succeed.
What should he be?
It is myself that I mean, in whom I know all the particulars of vice so grafted, that when they shall be opened, black Macbeth will seem as pure as snow, and the poor estate esteem him as a lamb being compared with my confineless harms.
Not in the legions of horrid hell can come a devil more damned in the evils to top Macbeth.
I grant him bloody, luxurious, avaricious, false, deceitful, sudden, malicious, smacking of every sin that has a name, but there's no bottom, none, in my voluptuousness. Your wives, your daughters, your matrons and your maids could not fill up the cistern of my lust, and my desire all continent impediments would o'erbear that did oppose my will. Better Macbeth than such a one to reign.
Boundless intemperance is in nature is a tyranny, and it had been the untimely emptying of the happy throne and the fall of many kings. But fear not yet to take upon what is yours. You may convey your pleasures in spacious plenty, and yet seem cold the time you may so hoodwink. We have willing dames enough. There cannot be that vulture in you to devour so many as will to the greatness dedicate themselves, finding it so inclined.
With this, there grows in my most ill-composed affection such a stanchless avarice that, were I king, I should cut off the nobles of their lands, desire his jewels and this other's house, and my more having would be as a sauce to make me hunger more. That I should forge quarrels unjust against the good and loyal, destroying them for wealth.
The avarice sticks deeper, grows with more pernicious roots than summer-seeming lust, and it have been the sword of our slain kings. Yet do not fear. Scotland hath poisons to fill up your will. Of your mere own, all these are portable with other graces weighed.
But I have none. The king becoming graces as justice, verity, temperance, stableness, bounty, perseverance, mercy, lowliness, devotion, patience, courage, fortitude. I have no relish of them, but abound in the division of each several crime, acting in many ways. Nay, I had power. I should pour the sweet milk of concord into hell, uproar the universal peace, confound all unity on earth.
Oh, Scotland, Scotland.
If such a one be fit to govern, speak. I am as I have spoken.
Fit to govern? No, not to live. O nation miserable with an untitled, tyrant-bloodied sceptred, when shalt thou see thy wholesome days again? Since that the truest issue of thy throne by his own interdiction stands a curse, and dost blaspheme his breed. Thy royal father was a most sainted king. The queen that bore thee, oftener upon her knees than on her feet, died every day she lived. Fare thee well. These evils thou wreathst upon thyself have banished me from Scotland. O my breast, thy hope ends here.
Macbeth, this noble passion, child of integrity, hath from my soul wiped the black scribbles, reconciled my thoughts to thy good truth and honour. A devilish Macbeth, by many of these trains hath sought to win me into his power, and modest wisdom plucks me from over credulous taste. But God above deal between thee and me. For even now I put myself to thy direction, and unspeak mine own detraction. Here, endure the taints and blames I laid upon myself. For strangers to my nature, I am yet unknown to woman. Never was forsworn, scarcely have coveted what was mine own, and at no time broke my faith, would not betray the devil to his fellow, and delight no less in truth than life. My first false speaking was disappoint myself. What I am truly is thine, and my poor country's to command. Whither indeed, before thy here approach, old Seward, with 10,000 warlike men, already at point, was setting forth now altogether, and chance of goodness be like our warranted quarrel. Why are you silent?
Such welcome and unwelcome things at once, 'tis hard to reconcile.
Enter a doctor.
Well, more anon, comes the king forth, I pray you.
I said there are a crew of wretched souls that say his cure their malady convinces the great essay of art, but at his doesn't sanctity have heaven given his hand, they presently amend.
I thank you, doctor.
The doctor exits.
What's the disease he means?
'Tis called the evil, most miraculous work in this good king, which often since my here remain in England I have seen him do. How he solicits heaven himself best knows, but strangely visited people, all swollen and ulcerous, pitiful to the eye, the mere despair of surgery, he cures, hanging a golden stamp about their necks, put on with holy prayers, and 'tis spoken to the succeeding royalty he leaves, the healing benediction. With this strange virtue he hath a heavenly gift of prophecy, and sundry blessings hang about his throne that make him full of grace.
Enter Ross.
See, who comes here?
My countryman, but yet I know him not.
My ever gentle cousin, welcome hither.
Ah, I know him now. Good God, betimes remove the means that make us strangers.
Sir, amen.
Stand Scotland where it did.
Alas, poor country, almost afraid to know itself. It cannot be called our mother, but our grave, where nothing but who knows nothing is once seen to smile, where sighs and groans and shrieks that rend the air are made, not marked, where violent sorrow seems a modern ecstasy. The dead man's knell is there scarce asked for, who, and good men's lives expire before the flowers in their caps dying, or ere they sicken.
Oh, relation, too nice and yet too true.
What's the newest grief?
That of an hour's age doth hiss the speaker. Each minute teems a new one.
How does my wife?
Why, well.
And all my children?
Well, too.
The tyrant has not battered at their peace.
No, they were at peace when I did leave them.
But not ungenerous of your speech. How goest?
When I came hither to transport the tidings, which I have heavily borne, there ran a rumour of many worthy fellows that were out, which to was my belief witnessed the rather. For that I saw the tyrant's power afoot. Now is the time of help. Your eye in Scotland would create soldiers, make our women fight, to doff their dire distresses.
Be it their comfort, they are coming thither. Gracious England hath lent us good seaward, and 10,000 men, an older and better shoulder none than Christendom gives out.
Would I could answer this comfort with the like, but I have words that would be howled out in the desert air, where hearing should not latch them.
What concern they? The general cause? Or is it a fee grief due to some single breast?
No mind that's honest, but in it shares some woe, though the main part pertains to you alone.
If it be mine, keep it not from me. Quickly, let me have it.
Let not your ears despise my tongue forever, which shall possess them with the heaviest sound that ever yet they heard.
I guess at it.
Your castle is surprised, your wife and babes savagely slaughtered. To relate the manner, were on the quarry of these murdered deer, to add the death of you.
Merciful heaven! What, man? There pull your hat upon your brows, give sorrow words. The grief that does not speak whispers the o'erfraught hair and bids it break.
My children, too.
Wife, children, servants, all that could be found.
And I must be from thence. My wife killed too.
I have said.
Be comforted. Let us make medicines of our great revenge to cure this deadly grief.
He has no children. All my pretty ones. Did you say all? Oh, hell kite, all! What, all my pretty chickens and their dam at one spell swoop?
Dispute it like a man.
I shall do so. But I must also feel it as a man. I cannot but remember such things were that were most precious to me. Did heaven look on and would not take their part? Sinful Macduff, they were all struck for thee. Naught that I am, not for their own demeritus, but for mine, fell slaughters on their souls. Heaven rest them now.
Be this the whetstone of your sword. Let grief convert to anger, blunt not the heart, enrage it.
Oh, I could play the woman with mine eyes and braggart with mine tongue, but gentle heavens, cut short all intermission, front to front. Bring now this fiend of Scotland and myself within the sword's length, set him. If he scape, heaven forgive him too.
This cheering goes my way. Come, we go to the king. Our power is ready. Our lack is nothing but our leave. Macbeth is ripe for shaking. The powers above put on their instruments. Receive what cheer you may. The night is long that never finds the day.
And they all exit, which brings us to the end of Act 4, and we're going to take another short intermission. I hope you're enjoying our performance tonight, and that you'll stick around for Act 5. We'll see you in 15 minutes. Good evening, friends, and welcome, or welcome back, to our face cam performance of the Scottish play. I hope you all had a good intermission and are sitting comfortably, ready for us to continue with Act 5, Scene 1 in Dunsinane, an anteroom in the castle. Enter a doctor of physic and a waiting gentlewoman.
I have 2 nights to watched with you, but can perceive no truth in your report. When was it she last walked?
Since His Majesty went into the field, I have seen her rise from her bed, throw her nightgown upon her, unlock her closet, take forth paper, fold it, write upon't, read it, afterwards seal it, and again return to bed. Yet all this while in a most fast sleep.
A great perturbation in nature to receive at once the benefit of sleep and do the effects of watching. In this slumbery agitation, besides her walking and other actual performances, what at any time have you heard her say?
That, sir, which I will not report after her.
You may to me, and this most meet you should.
Neither to you, nor anyone, having no witness to confirm my speech.
Enter Lady Macbeth with a taper.
Lo, you, here she comes. This is her very guise, and, upon my life, fast asleep. Observer, stand close.
How came she by that light?
Why, it stood by her. She has light by her continually. 'Tis her command.
You see, her eyes are open.
Aye, but their sense is shut.
What is it she does now? Look how she rubs her hands.
It is an accustomed action with her, to seem thus washing her hands. I have known her continue in this a quarter of an hour.
Look, here's a spot.
Hark, she speaks. I will set down what comes from her to satisfy my remembrance the most strongly.
Out. Damn spot. Out. I say. 1, 2. Why then, it's time to do it. Hell is murky. Fie! My lord, fie! A soldier and a feared. What need we fear who knows it, when none can call our power to account? Yet who would have thought the old man had had so much blood in him?
Do you mark that?
The Thane of Fife had a wife. Where is she now? What? Will these hands never be clean? No more of that, my lord, no more of that. Jamal with this starting.
Go to. You have known what you should not.
She has spoke what she should not, I'm sure of that. Heaven knows what she has known.
Yes, the smell of blood still. All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand.
What a sigh is there. The heart is sorely charged.
I would not have such a heart in my bosom for the dignity of the whole body.
Well.
Pray God it be, sir.
This disease is beyond my practice. Yet I have known those which have walked in their sleep, who have died wholly in their beds.
Wash your hands. Put on your nightgown. Look not so pale. I tell you yet again, Banquo is buried. He cannot come out on Aunt's grave.
Even so?
To bed. To bed. There's a knocking at the gate. Come, 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 come. Give me your hand. What's done cannot be undone. To bed. To bed. To bed.
And Lady Macbeth leaves.
Will she go now to bed?
Directly.
Foul whisperings are abroad. Unnatural deeds do breed unnatural troubles. Infected minds to their death pillows will discharge their secrets. More needs she the divine than the physician. God, God forgive us all. Look after her, remove from her the means of all annoyance, and still keep eyes upon her. So, good night. My mind she has made it, and amazed my sight. I think, but dare not speak.
Good night, good doctor.
And they leave. Act 5, Scene 2, the country near Dunsinane. Drum and colours. Enter Menteith, Caithness, Angus, Lennox, and soldiers.
The English power is near, led on by Malcolm, his uncle Seward, and the good Macduff. Revengers burn in them for their dear causes, would to the bleeding and the grim alarm excite the mortified man.
Where now would shall we meet them? That way they are coming.
Who knows if Donalbain be with his brother?
For certain, sir, he is not. I have a file of all the gentry. There is a Seward's son, and many unrough youths that even now protest their first of manhood. What does the tyrant?
Great Dunsinane he strongly fortifies. Some say he's mad. Others that lesser hate him do call it valiant fury. But, for certain, he cannot buckle his distempered cause within the belt of rule.
Now does he his secret murders sticking on his hands? Now immediately revolts upbraid his fate breach. Those he commands move only in command, nothing in love. Now does he feel his title hang loose about him? Like a giant's robe upon a dwarfish thief.
Who then shall blame his pestered senses to recoil and start, when all that is within him does condemn itself for being there?
Well, march we on, to give obedience where 'tis truly owed. Meet we the medicine of the sickly weal, and with him pour we in our country's purge, each drop of us.
Oh, so much as it needs to dew the sovereign flower and drown the weeds, make we our march towards Burnham.
And they all leave, marching. Act 5, Scene 3, Dunsinane, a room in the castle. Enter Macbeth, Doctor, and attendants.
Bring me no more reports. Bring me no more reports. Let them fly all, till Burnham Wood remove to Dunsinane. I cannot taint with fear. What's the boy Malcolm? Was he not born of woman? The spirits that know all mortal consequences have pronounced me thus. Fear not, Macbeth. No man that's born of woman shall e'er have power over thee. Then fly, false thanes, and mingle with the English epicures. The mind I sway by and the heart I bear shall never sag with doubt nor shake with fear.
Enter a servant.
Devil damn thee black, thou cream-faced loon. Where got'st thou that goose look?
There is 10,000
Geese, villain!
soldiers, sir.
Go prick thy face and overread thy fear, thou lily-livered boy. What soldiers, Patch? Death of thy soul! Those linen and cheeks of thine are counsellors to fear. What soldiers, Wayface?
The English force, so please you.
Take thy face hence.
The servant exits.
Satan, I am sick at heart. When I behold Satan, I say, this push will cheer me ever, or deceit me now. I have lived long enough, my way of life is fallen into the sere, the yellow leaf, and that which should accompany old age, as honour, love, obedience, troops of friends, I must not look to have, but in their stead, curses, not loud but deep, mouth honour, breath which the poor heart would fain deny and dare not. Satan!
Satan enters.
What is your gracious pleasure? All is confirmed, my lord, which was reported.
I'll fight till from my bones my flesh be hacked. Give me my armour.
It is not needed yet.
I'll put it on. Send out more horses, scur the country round. Hang those that talk of fear. Give me mine armour. How does your patient, doctor?
Not so sick, my lord, as she is troubled with thick coming fancies that keep her from her rest.
Cure her of that. Canst thou not minister to a mind disease? Pluck from the memory a rooted sorrow. Raise out the written troubles of the brain, and with some sweet oblivious antidote cleanse the stuffed bosom of that perilous stuff which weighs upon the heart.
Therein the patient must minister to himself.
Throw physic to the dogs, I'll none of it. Come, put mine armour on. Give me my staff. Satan, send out. Doctor, the veins fly from me. Come, sir, dispatch. If thou couldst, doctor, cast the water of my land, find her disease, and purge it to a sound and pristine health, I would applaud thee to the very echo that should applaud again. Pull it off, I say. What rhubarb, thyme, or what purgative drug would scour these English hence? Hear'st thou of them?
Ay, my good lord, your royal preparation makes us hear something.
Bring it after me. I will not be afraid of death and bane till Burnham Forest come to Dunsinane.
Were I from Dunsinane, were here, prophet again should hardly draw me here.
And they both leave. Act 5, Scene 4, Country near Burnham Wood. As drum and colours enter Malcolm, Seward and young Seward, Macduff, Menteith, Caithness, Angus, Lennox, Ross, and soldiers marching.
Cousins, hope the days are near at hand, that Chambers will be safe.
We doubt it nothing.
What wood is this before us?
The wood of Burnham.
Let every soldier hew him down a bow, and bear it before him. Thereby shall we shadow the numbers of our host, and make discovery ere in reporting us.
It shall be done.
We learn no other, but the confident tyrant keeps still in Dunsinane, and will enjoy our setting down before it.
'Tis his main hope. For where there is advantage to be given, both more and less have given him the revolt. And none serve with him but constrained things whose hearts are absent too.
Let our just censures attend the true event, and put we on industrious soldiership.
The time approaches that will with due decision make us know what we shall say we have, and what we owe. Thoughts speculative their unsure hopes relate, but certain issue strokes must arbitrate towards which advance the war.
And they all exit, marching. Act 5, Scene 5, Dunsinane, within the castle. Enter Macbeth, Satan, and soldiers with drum and colours.
On the outward wall, the cry is still, they come. Our castle strength will laugh a siege to scorn. Here, let them lie, till famine and the ague eat them up. Were they not forced with those that should be ours, we might have met them with dareful, beard to beard, and beat them backward home.
There is a cry of women within.
What is that noise?
'Tis the cry of women, my good lord.
And Satan exits.
I have almost forgot the taste of fears. The time has been, my senses would have cold to hear a night shriek, and my fell of hair would at a dismissal treatise rouse and stir as life rent. I've supped full with horrors. Direness familiar to me, to my slaughterous thoughts cannot once start me.
Satan re-enters.
Wherefore was that cry?
The queen, my lord, is dead.
She should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools away to dusty death. Out, out, breathe candle! Life's but a walking shadow. A poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
Enter a messenger.
Thou comest to use thy tongue, thy story quickly.
Gracious my lord, I should report that which I say I saw, but know not how to say it.
Will say, sir.
As I did stand my watch upon the hill, I looked toward Burnham, and anon, methought, the wood began to move.
Liar and slave!
Let me enjoy your wrath if it be not so. Within this 3 mile you may see it coming. I say, a moving grove.
If speakest false, upon the next tree thou shalt hang alive till famine cling thee. If thy speech be south, I care not if thou dost for me as much. I pull in resolution and begin to doubt the equivocation of the fame that lies like truth. Fear not, till Burnham wood do come to Dunsinane, and Noah wood comes toward Dunsinane. Arm, arm, and out! If this which he avouches does appear, there is nor flying hence nor tarrying here. I gin to be aweary of the sun, and wish the estate of the world were now and done. Ring the alarum bell, blow wind come rack, at least we'll die with harness on our back.
And they leave. Act 5, Scene 6, Dunsinane, before the castle. Drum and colours enter Malcolm, Seward, Macduff, and their army with boughs.
Now near enough. Your leafy screens throw down, and show like those you are. You, worthy uncle, shall with my cousin, your right noble son, lead our first battle. Worthy Macduff and we shall take upon what else remains to do, according to our order.
Fare you well. Do we but find the tyrant's power tonight? Let us be beaten if we cannot fight.
Make all our trumpets speak. Give them all breath, those clamorous harbingers of blood and death.
And they all exit. Act 5, Scene 7, another part of the field. Alarums. Macbeth enters.
They have me tied to a stake, I cannot fly, but bear-like I must fight the course. Was he that was not born of a woman? Such a one am I to fear or none.
Enter young Seward.
Thou'lt be afraid to hear it.
No, thou call'st thyself a hotter name than any's in hell.
My name's Macbeth.
The devil himself could not pronounce a title more hateful to mine ear.
No, nor more fearful.
Thou liest, abhorred tyrant, with my sword I'll prove the lie thou speakest.
They fight, and young Seward is slain.
Women, but swords I smile at, weapons laughed, sworn, brandished by a man that's of a woman born.
Macbeth leaves, there are alarms, and Macduff enters.
That way the noises. Tyrant, show thy face. If thou be slain with no stroke of mine, my wife and children's ghosts will haunt me still. I cannot strike at wretched kerns whose arms are hired to bear their stays. Either thou, Macbeth, or else my sword with unbattered edge I sheath again undeeded. There, thou shouldst be, by this great clatter, one of greatest note seems bruited. Let me find him, fortune, and more I beg not.
Macduff leaves with more alarms, and Malcolm and Seward enter.
This way, my lord, the castle's gently rendered. The tyrant's people on both sides do fight. The noble thanes do bravely in the war. The day almost itself professes yours, and little is to do.
We have met with foes that strike behind us.
Enter, sir, the castle.
They exit with more alarms. Act 5, Scene 8, another part of the field. Enter Macbeth.
Why should I play the Roman fool and die on mine own sword? Whilst I see lives, the gashes do better upon them.
Macduff enters.
Turn, hellhounds, turn!
Of all men else, I have avoided thee, but get thee back. My soul is too much charged with blood of thine already.
I have no words. My voice is in my sword. Thou bloodier villain than terms can give thee out.
They fight.
Thou losest labour, as easy mayst thou the entrenchant air with thy keen sword impresses make me bleed. Let fall thy blade on vulnerable crest. I bear charmed life, which must not yield to one of woman born.
Despair thy charm, and let the angel whom thou hast served tell thee, Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped.
Cursed be that tongue that tells me so, for it hath cowed my better part of man. And be these juggling fiends no more believed that palter us with in a double sense, that keep the word of promise to our ear and break it to our hope. I'll not fight with thee.
Then yield thee, coward, and live to beat the show and gaze of the time. We'll have thee, as our rarer monsters are, painted on a pole and underwrit. Here may you see the tyrant.
Ye to kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet, and to be baited with the rabble's curse. Though Burnham would become to Dunsinane, and thou oppose, being of no woman born, yet I will try the last. Before my body I throw my warlike shield. Lay on, Macduff, and damned be him that first cries, hold, enough.
And they exit, fighting to alarms. There's a flourish, and with drum and colours, Malcolm, Seward, Ross, the other thanes and soldiers enter.
I would that the friends we miss were safe arrived.
Some must go off, and yet by these I see, so great a day as this is cheaply bought.
Macduff is missing, and your noble son.
Your son, my lord, has paid a soldier's debt. He only lived but till he was a man, the which no sooner had his prowess confirmed in the unshrinking station where he fought, but like a man he died.
Then he is dead.
Aye, and brought off the field. Your cause of sorrow must not be measured by his worth, for then it hath no end.
Had he his hurts before?
Aye, on the front.
Why then, God's soldier be he. Had I as many sons as I have hairs, I would not wish them to a fairer death. And so his Nell is knolled.
He's worth more sorrow, and that I'll spend for him.
He's worth no more. They say he parted well and paid his score. And so God be with him. Here comes newer comfort.
Macduff re-enters with Macbeth's head.
Hail, King, for so thou art. Behold, where stands the usurper's cursed head. The time is free. I see thee compassed with thy kingdom's pearl, that speak my salutations in their minds, whose voices I desire aloud with mine. Hail, King of Scotland!
Hail,
Hail,
King of Scotland!
King of Scotland!
There is a flourish.
We shall not spend a large expense of time before we reckon with your several loves, and make us even with you, my thanes and kinsmen, henceforth be earls, the first that ever Scotland in such an honour named. What's more to do, which will be planted newly with the time, as calling home our exiled friends abroad, that fled the snares of watchful tyranny, producing forth the cruel ministers of this dead butcher and his fiend-like queen, who, as 'tis thought, by self and violent hands took off her life. This, and what needful else that calls upon us by the grace of grace, we will perform in measure, time, and place. So thanks to all at once, and to each one whom we invite to see us crowned at Scone.
There is a flourish, and they all exit. And with that, we have reached the end of the play. So we're going to get everyone on cams so we can do a curtain call.
Woo!
Fuck yeah.
Yeah!
Hell yeah! We made it,
Wow.
gamers.
Yeah,
That
we
happened.
did.
It did.
That
was
happened.
fun.
It definitely did. You were there, and you were there, and you were there.
We were all there. I just realised my camera's been in a bad place the entire time. Oops.
No matter. No matter. Thank you so much, everyone who watched.
Yeah.
This was a delight.
Oh, thank
this
you,
was a bit of
everyone.
this was a bit of an experiment. We weren't completely sure whether it was gonna work to have people on camera, but I'd say it did.
It worked.
So
We
that
managed.
could
Somehow.
maybe
did.
happen again. I see a lot of applause in chat. That is nice.
Yay.
Shall we go through quickly who is who? Let's actually go based on what I can see on the screen. So Akane,
Hi.
who did you play and who are you?
Yes, I am Akane. I played a whole cast of tiny characters, or sometimes fairly large characters, but with tiny roles. Important. So I played the gentlewoman, Seaward, old Seaward, the messenger, who was also the second murderer, Caithness, and also the first apparition. This was delightful. I'm so glad all of this worked out, and I'm so glad everyone kind of leaned into it even more than I expected. I'm genuinely delighted. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much, Ray, for organizing. We'll get back to you later. And well, there is this Twitter account. I think
Yes.
That one.
Some of you may be familiar with, some of our new viewers may not. If you are familiar with Cat's 2019 director Tom Hooper or its origin book, you may perhaps also be interested in twitter.com/jelliclebot, a machine learning based generator of Jellicle cat names that posts a new Jellicle cat every 3 hours for your enjoyment. Current favorites
Very
include
good.
Plans the well-read cat and Damame the seamy side cat. There's a lot of that kind of stuff if that is your thing. Thank you all so much.
Hey.
Cheese.
All right. Hello, everyone. I am Cheese or Cheesable. Either works. I had the wonderful joy of playing Ross, first of all, and also the first murderer who, maybe Ross was the first murderer all along. Can you prove otherwise? Were they ever in the same room at the same time? I think they were supposed to be in one scene, but it didn't happen. So, it's just this is the way it works out, Thank you so much for getting this organized though, because this was a lot of fun, and I hope we can do more stuff like this in the future because it is chaos, but like wonderful, and yeah, just the best people to do it with, obviously. I guess finally, good a time as any to say trans rights matter. Let's get trans rights, please. Thank you.
Trans rights
Yeah,
in
and
chat.
Can we get some trans rights in chat?
That's
Trans
right.
rights in chat.
There might be a bit of a delay. I kind of forgot there's a
Yeah, true. Elia.
Yeah.
Trans rights. There we go.
Trans rights. Them's the good trans hearts. Yes. All right, Ellie. Who is
Hey.
there?
Mackie B.
Poppy.
Mackie B. Hi. So I'm Ellie. I've been at quite a few of these by now. And this was, for all of us, this was our very first face cam play. It was so much fun to do. Obviously, I played the one and only Mackie B. I was talking to my friends about this, and one of my friends, Josh, was literally like, why is he murdering everyone? And I was like, well, it's just what he does. I still have the blood on my hands from all the murder that I've committed. So, that ain't going away anytime soon. I'm sorry, Josh. Massive shout out to everyone in the cast and everyone in the crew who's been coming along to all the Croakspeare stuff, and everyone in the audience. You guys have been phenomenal today. I'm gonna leave it with trans rights, LGBTQ rights overall, Black Lives Matter, everything. You are valid, you are loved. Stay hydrated, take your meds, and I hope you've had a wonderful performance watching us.
Yay. Dog. Who is
Me?
there? Yes.
Right. So I started the day with the role of Banquo. And you might have noticed I ended up with a few more. So I was Banquo, which is fun. I died. I was the first witch. I was Macduff's son. Also died.
To the
I
same
was the third
murderers.
murderer.
Note.
Yeah, same murderer. Third murderer. So I killed Macduff's son and Banquo. I was Menteith, and then Lord's attendant and Lennox. This was really fun. I was worried that I wouldn't enjoy it or that it would be too stressful, but it was really, really fun. I don't have anything much to plug, but I'm going to plug my friend's Twitter. They make some really, really cute comics and stickers and other stuff, and they do commissions. I believe someone's putting that in the stream chat for me, but they're really cool. Trans rights, Black Lives Matter, all of that stuff, and this was really, really fun.
Yay.
Nicola.
Well, hello, I've been Nicola. I have been playing a doctor, Hecate, Lady Macbeth, Angus, Porter, and third apparition. I don't have anything to plug. Trans rights, Black Lives Matter. What else? Lavial.
Yay.
Thank you for coming to the play, people whom I invited, by the way.
Yay.
Thank you.
Sarah.
Hey, I'm Sarah. I played the previous king, Duncan, who went off somewhere. He's fine. I played Macduff. I played the third witch. I played a servant and a singular lord. This is a distinction because there was both a singular lord and multiple lords as separate characters. I always say how much of a great time I had and how much I think you guys are awesome every time, and this is no different. Everybody smashed it. It's a new thing, and it was so much fun, and everybody's just amazing. Haven't got anything to plug apart from if you're new to sort of Croakspeare things, come and have a look at our back catalogue. We have things for you to watch, and they're quite cool. And join us for another stream. But to echo everybody, trans rights, Black Lives Matter, and we are so grateful for you for watching us. Thank you.
Yay. I'm gonna throw it over to Kaden.
Hi. Oh, okay. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I played Nialcom, which is why I've been wearing these the whole time. The second witch, young C-word, so sorry, Dad, that I died. Didn't mean to, I tried my best. Satan, who was completely sick of Macbeth's shit, and the old man that just kind of showed up in there. It was very fashionable emo grandfather with this thing that I found in my cupboard. So I never have anything to shout out on this channel. So just thank you all for coming. Trans rights, Black Lives Matter, and stay hydrated and stay safe in these, what's it called again? Unprecedented times. That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Leave myself for last and say a shout out to Cranberry, our amazing narrator. Cran, take it away. If you want to say anything.
Okay. Hello, I'm Cran or Cranberry. I've been the narrator tonight, and I want to thank you all so much for watching, and our amazing actors, of course, and Ray for helping us stay on track and hosting and doing tech support, and to Sil for putting this all together in the first place. I've really enjoyed this tonight, which I wasn't expecting. Or like I was, but you know, being narrator is a lot. And I'm gonna plug my Twitter because I'm so cool and you should all go check me out.
Correct.
Right.
Occasionally I
right.
post art. Thank you all again so much for watching. I hope you had an amazing evening. And I believe we're going to do a raid.
No, we're not completely done yet.
We're not completely done yet?
Yep. Shout out to Ray, who is our current hoster and who organized this and made the whole thing work. And yeah, we love you, Ray. Thank you.
Yeah.
And just to end with myself, my name is Cillian. I somehow I kicked this in gear. The other people did all the hard work. And I played Lady Macbeth and Second Apparition and soldiers, plural. I had one line. It was the best line of the entire play. And I you can find me all around the internet, but I stream every Monday and Wednesday, subject to possible change in the near future, over on Vanaheim Games, where I stream video games because I'm a dog. At the moment, it's a lot of Assassin's Creed. So yeah, that was everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you. This was fun. I hope we'll do another one like this again. And
Oh,
thank you
yeah.
so much for watching. Who are we gonna raid?
So much.
Are we rating?
First
Not
question,
rating.
are we all going to do a dab on screen?
I think we
Sarah,
should.
yes.
Yeah.
You
Absolutely
said
not.
Yeah.
last time
Yes,
we were doing
we are.
this.
Yeah, I'm joining Sarah in this.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm joining Sarah.
3,
Oh, go ahead, Sil.
3, 2, 1.
Perfect. Amazing.
That was wonderful.
Unparalleled for me.
The power we
We're so
hold.
professional.
Power of
The
the dab.
magic of video.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Are we gonna raid someone? Who are we gonna raid?
I think we're rating lots of Lottie. I think.
Yeah.
I
Let's
think.
raid lots of Lottie.
Cool.
We don't really have a raid message. Just say trans rights.
Trans rights.
Trans rights.
Shout it out. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're still waving. Okay.